Have you ever wondered what happens when a family disagrees? When a vision so powerful splinters, creating not an end but a new beginning? This isn't just a story about technology. It's a story of conviction, of rebellion, and of a relentless pursuit of a dream. This is the story of Bitcoin Cash. Our story begins in 2017. Not in a garage or a boardroom, but within the very heart of the cryptocurrency revolution, the Bitcoin community. A fierce, passionate debate was raging, a conflict that would forever alter the crypto landscape. The question at its core was simple, yet profound. How could Bitcoin grow to serve the entire world? The network was becoming slow, congested, and expensive for small, everyday transactions. A chasm formed between two powerful ideologies. On one side were those who believed in off-chain solutions, like the segregated witness SegWit protocol, which would move some data off the main blockchain to increase capacity. They saw this as a careful, measured way to scale without fundamentally altering Bitcoin's core structure. On the other side was a group of developers, miners, and visionaries who held a different belief with unwavering conviction. They argued that the solution was simpler, more direct, and truer to the original vision of Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Their answer was to increase the block size on-chain. The disagreement was not merely technical. It was philosophical. It was a battle over the very soul of what Bitcoin should be. For those who championed bigger blocks, the dream was a world where you could buy a coffee, pay for a bus ticket, or send a few dollars to a friend across the globe, all with near-instant speed and for a fraction of a cent. They saw the rising fees on the Bitcoin network as a betrayal of this promise, turning it into a store of value for the wealthy rather than a medium of exchange for the masses. The debate intensified. Arguments grew more heated, and the community found itself at an impasse. Compromise seemed impossible. The rift was too deep, the two paths too divergent. And so, on August 1st, 2017, the inevitable happened. In an act of defiance and determination, the group advocating for bigger blocks initiated a hard fork. They split from the original Bitcoin blockchain, taking its entire transaction history with them, and forged a new path. On that day, a new cryptocurrency was born, Bitcoin Cash BCH. From its very first moment, Bitcoin Cash was different. It launched with an 8 megabytes block size. It's a massive 8-fold increase over Bitcoin's 1 megabyte limit, a clear and bold statement of its intent. This was not just a minor upgrade. It was a declaration of independence, a promise to the world that fast, cheap, and reliable digital cash was not just a dream, but an achievable reality. The birth of Bitcoin Cash was met with a whirlwind of excitement and volatility. It was a new contender, a challenger to the king, and the market reacted with explosive energy. For those who had felt unheard in the scaling debate, BCH was more than just a coin. It was a vindication. It was proof that their vision had a place, that their fight had been worthwhile. The price, initially hovering around a few $100s, began a meteoric ascent. The world was watching, and many were captivated by its promise. But the journey of a revolutionary is never a straight line. Just as Bitcoin Cash was finding its footing, another storm was brewing, this time from within its own community. The very act of rebellion that created BCH had planted the seeds for future dissent. By late 2018, disagreements once again emerged, centered on the coin's future development and protocol rules. One faction, led by a prominent and controversial figure, pushed for an even more radical vision, advocating for a massive increase in the block size and a rigid adherence to their interpretation of the original Bitcoin protocol. The community was once again torn in two. The spirit of compromise was lost in a bitter and public conflict that came to be known as the Hash War. In November 2018, the schism became official. Another hard fork occurred, splitting the Bitcoin Cash network and creating a new coin, Bitcoin SV Satoshi's vision. This second split was a painful, traumatic event. It wasn't a clean break born of idealism, but a contentious battle that confused the market and shook the confidence of its supporters. The fallout was devastating. The price of BCH, already weakened by the emerging bear market, plummeted. It fell from hundreds of dollars to, at its lowest point by the end of 2018, below $100. It was a dark and difficult time, a trial by fire that tested the resolve of everyone who had believed in the project. The dream seemed to be slipping away. Out of the ashes of internal conflict and market collapse, a more resilient Bitcoin Cash began to emerge. The community, though smaller, was now more united, forged in the crucible of adversity. Having survived 2 historic splits, the remaining supporters doubled down on their core mission. The period from 2019 to 2021 was one of quiet rebuilding and steady progress. The noise and drama subsided, replaced by a focused determination to prove its utility. While the price remained far from its all-time highs, it found a new level of stability, trading for long periods between $200 and $400, with occasional surges past $700. More importantly, the network delivered on its fundamental promise. Transaction fees remained consistently low, often costing less than a penny, and confirmation times stayed fast and reliable. The ecosystem began to mature. Wallets, payment processors, and merchants started to embrace BCH, not as a speculative asset, but as what it was always meant to be, a practical and efficient means of payment. Bitcoin Cash carved out its identity not as a Bitcoin killer, but as a highly effective digital cash system, a powerful alternative for everyday people and businesses who needed to transact globally without the friction and cost of traditional finance or a congested Bitcoin network. It stood as a testament to its core strength, a relentless focus on being low-cost, fast, and accessible to all. The path to success is rarely free of obstacles, and since 2022, Bitcoin Cash has faced a new set of formidable challenges. A widespread crypto bear market, driven by global macroeconomic pressures and uncertainty, swept across the entire industry. Like nearly every other digital asset, BCH saw its price fall dramatically. At one point, dipping below the critical $100 mark again in mid-2022, the crypto winter was long and harsh, testing the faith of even the most ardent supporters. In this competitive landscape, BCH found itself fighting a war on multiple fronts. It faced constant competition from Bitcoin, which, despite its high fees, retained its dominant position as the premier store of value. Simultaneously, a new generation of cryptocurrencies, with novel technologies and different scaling approaches, vied for the attention of users and developers. Yet, through it all, Bitcoin Cash has demonstrated a remarkable resilience. It has refused to fade away. It endured the bear market, and as conditions began to improve, it showed signs of a powerful recovery. By the end of 2023, the price had climbed back above $200, and into 2024, it continues to prove its staying power. This journey, marked by fierce debate, historic forks, dizzying highs, and crushing lows, tells a powerful story. It's the story of a project that dared to challenge the status quo, that chose a difficult path in pursuit of a clear and unwavering vision. Bitcoin Cash carries with it the legacy of competition, the drive for innovation, and the necessity of adaptation in the fast-moving world of cryptocurrency. Though its future is still being written, its story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of immense challenges, a steadfast commitment to a core purpose to provide fast, low-cost transactions for the world can create a legacy of strength and perseverance.